Hello, parents and guardians of my honors Algebra 2 Trig students. This is Mr. Longo, and I just wanted to send a short video update of basically some feedback from first semester from students and just a little refresher on how things in my class operate. So again, students will get to work at their own pace in my class. They get to select if they want to be working in teams or as an individual. I will highly encourage teams because I have found in the past that that is more successful for students because they get to collaborate with one another. They get to decide what they want to work on during class. They could take notes. They could work on the practice packets. They can even study for a different class if they had a schedule in mind. So they have different options of what they want to do in class. I will share some feedback from students on what works best. They get to decide when they take their quizzes and tests. They decide as a team, or if they're an individual, they can pick and choose whatever. But if they're working in teams, they need to decide together what day they are going to take quizzes and tests. Quizzes sometimes have an individual component, sometimes they are taken as teams. Tests are going to be taken individually. Again, it's on a day that the team decides to encourage them to be more, I guess, communicating as a team on planning. So they all have to take the test on the same day. Of course, that does not, if a student is absent, that's not part of the deal. But if they are going to take it as a team, they should decide on which day they are going to take it and try to stick to a plan. Students must finish all units before the end of the semester. That is the one major deadline. So students may finish early. Somebody first semester finished approximately 4 weeks ahead of schedule. And there are other students that waited to take their last test on the very last day of the semester before final exam review begins. So really, the major deadline is they must finish, but they can finish early. They can finish a few weeks early. They can finish on the very last day. I can tell you that I give them a calendar, and there's always going to be plenty of time to finish. There will always be extra days built into the schedule, so they don't have to feel like they are rushing. There's plenty of time to finish. Feedback from students from first semester. First semester was very successful. The overall class average was really, really good, and majority of students have reported that they prefer the student-paced style. So compared to the traditional style, over 80% of students have reported that they prefer this style of classroom. And because many of the students reported that, here are the reasons why. They learn to take responsibility for themselves. They learn to be proactive, and that procrastinating is not a very good thing. They were more successful because of the flexibility and the collaboration of other students. So they have also reported since it's less stressful because they get to pick a schedule. So students sometimes, if they need an extra day to study, they'll take it. If they're finding that the content is fairly easy and they're just kind of breezing through it, they can finish a little bit ahead of schedule so they can spend a day working on something else for another class. So students have reported for those main reasons they prefer this style of classroom. They've also said that they feel more prepared for college because they learn how to budget their time. They learn how to communicate and work more effectively in teams, which I believe is a very important skill to learn for the real world. And they learn how to manage minor distractions while they're working because students in the class get to choose different quiz and test days. There will always be some noise in the background. It is also why I play a little bit of music, because I feel it is a very important skill to be able to work through distractions so you're not sidetracked when you're doing something that's quiet and then something that you weren't expecting happens. So students have learned that that is a very big thing that they've learned to do as well. And in terms of procrastinating and needing to do a better job of responsibility, some students have reported that that was one of the reasons why they do prefer a traditional classroom. But on the other hand, that is a very important skill to learn. If students learn that they need to do a better job of being responsible for themselves, That's only going to help them moving forward when they're heading to college and beyond. Um, Tips for success or things that students would change. Again, this is based on first semester surveys from my students. And one thing they said overall is to find a group that encourages you to work. Some groups that were selected were really, really fantastic of coming in, doing practice problems together, checking each other's work, helping each other out, asking each other questions, and that is the recipe for success. Now, some students will come in, and if they're ahead of schedule, they can play. Some played a little bit too much, which goes to making sure that you are working in class when you have the time. Completing the packets, extra practice packets, not falling behind schedule. Another big one that goes along with the whole team is to take your notes outside of class so you can spend class time working together. So if a student chooses to just take notes during class, that's a guided video. It's just me explaining all of the content that they need to know for that particular lesson, which they can do anywhere. They don't need the time in class to do it. They can take it in study hall, at home. It is more valuable to spend class time working with your team or asking me questions. Other tips is to get a few days ahead of schedule. So if you need extra time to study for a quiz or a test, you have it. And the biggest one is not to slack off. That's coming straight from what the students have said. Some students said that if they were to repeat first semester or learn from some of their mistakes they made first semester, it would be to spend more time working and less time slacking off. So the only other thing I want to cover is just a reminder of my extra credit opportunity for second semester. It's similar to first semesters, but this one I require students to get out there and learn or try something new or set a goal for themselves and do their best to accomplish it. I believe that students at this age, they need to be fearless in trying new things or not being afraid to set a goal for themselves and trying to actually accomplish it. And if they do accomplish it, that is very rewarding. If they fall a little bit short, it's okay. I want students to get out there and I want them to learn new things. I want them to follow their passion, their dreams, and all they have to do at the end of the semester is present this in a Google Slides to the class. It is an optional project, but it is a lot of fun. And for many students, it has been rewarding. For one former student, it is actually developed into a career because of the risk she took in my class. So I just wanted to, again, kind of remind you, let's try to start second semester off on the right foot. Your kids are amazing. I had a wonderful time with them first semester, and I just want to get off to the right start. So anyway, thank you very much for your time. This is Longo, and I'm out. See you, bye.